Get ready, Padres fans. It's time for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Tatis at third, 2 outs. Fernando takes off. He's going to steal home without a play.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, and our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Schultz. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the final game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the D-backs, right-hander Ryan Nelson, and for the Padres, right-hander Dylan Cease. Hi again everyone, Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch is coming up on this beautiful Sunday at 1:10 p.m. for the rubber game of this 3-game set. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, you'll hear from Padres manager Mike Schultz. We also hear from Padres catcher Kyle Higashioka, and much, much more to come. We'll also check in with Bob Scanlon in just a few minutes. But first, let's set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. Padres entered today with a record of 49-44. Despite losing last night, the Padres still have won 12 out of their last 16 games. Padres trying to make it 5 consecutive series wins here today. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks are 44-45. Arizona has won 5 out of their last 7 games. It was another tight ball game last night here in downtown San Diego.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Let's start in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Padres trailing 4-1. There were runners on first and third for Jerks and Profar.
Here's the 1-1. Profar swings, rips it fair down the left field line. Kim has scored. Arise rounding third. Now he'll be held there. Profar into second in RBI double, and it's 4-2 here in the 7th.
With Luis Arise on third base and Profar on second, it was Jake Cronenworth at the plate.
Mantiply delivers. Cronenworth bunts towards third. It's a beauty. Suarez bare hand, throw to first, not in time. Arise came in to score, and it's a 1-run game.
Padres trailed 4-3. Going to the 8th inning, they pulled even, courtesy of Ha-Seong Kim.
Thompson is set and ready. The 0-2. Kim swings, hits it in the air down the left field line. Fair ball. Gonna tie the game. Up against the wall. Gurriel picks it up, sends it to second, an RBI double, and it's 4-4 in the 8th.
We went to extra innings, tied at 4. Wandy Peralta on the mound in the top of the 10th. The D-backs loaded the bases with nobody out for Christian Walker.
Here's the pitch. And a hard hit grounder up the middle that is through and into center, a base hit. Merrill has scored. Perdomo's on his way. Merrill comes up firing. The throw to the plate and the tag, not in time. It was bang, bang at the plate, but a 2-run single for Christian Walker as he turns around an 0-2 pitch, and the Diamondbacks go back in front. It's 6-4.
Arizona got another run in that inning to make it 7-4. In the bottom half of the 10th inning, Donovan Solano got the Padres a little bit closer.
Here's the pitch. And Solano swings, hits it in the air to right field. Pretty well struck. Carroll racing back. Over his shoulder, it gets down. Rolls up against the base of the wall. Cronenworth is rounding third. He's going to be set. Machado will be held. It's a double for Solano and a 2-run game. Still nobody out in the bottom of the 10th.
The Padres would have a golden opportunity in that bottom half of the 10th inning, loading the bases with nobody out, the tying runs in scoring position, and the winning run on base. But Bryce Johnson and Ha-Seong Kim struck out. Kyle Higashioka flew out to end the game, and that was that last night. The final in 10, the Diamondbacks 7 and the Padres 5. The Padres winning a thrilling game on Friday night. The walk-off home run by Manny Machado, a tough one last night, losing in 10 innings, and it sets up the rubber game of this series here today. Let's go inside the Padres radio booth.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Bob Scanlon in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Scan, let's start by talking about Dylan Cease on the mound today for the Padres in the rubber match of this 3-game series. Dylan coming off a tough outing in Arlington his last time out. And Bob, I think when you talk about important things that need to happen for the Padres moving forward, at least in my opinion, I think Dylan Cease being the best version of himself and being consistent with that is pretty high on the list of priorities, considering the injuries to the rotation and what the Padres need right now. So I'll ask you, how does Dylan Cease get back on track here today, and how does he be that consistent best version of himself that we certainly saw earlier in the year?
Yeah, Sam, let me start off by agreeing with you. Obviously, he's an important piece because we've seen what he can do, right? He can absolutely dominate when he's on and locked in, and we saw that in the first part of the season. Now, if you look at the last 10 starts, I know the ERA is super high, a 6.15, and I'm not saying that that's not relevant, but at the same time, there have been 5 outings amongst that 10 that have actually been pretty good where he's allowed 3 earned runs or less, so it hasn't been all disastrous. There have been a few games where things have just snowballed on him, and so, to get back into your original question, what is the key? And it's the thing that he's been working on for the last 3 outings, which I think has been better, which is his command. And it sort of was drifting away from him, and it finally reached a point where he and Ruben, just had to acknowledge, okay, something's not right here. We need to fix it. This isn't just getting corrected on its own. It was a mechanical adjustment to help him stay more in line to where he was driving the ball and to try to help him stay in his lanes better. If you're going to the glove side, stay in the glove side. Going arm side, stay in the arm side. In other words, the stuff is there. Let's locate it a little bit better, especially with the fastball. And we saw that for 2 outings. He looked great against Washington. He threw the ball really well against Milwaukee. And even though Milwaukee had said 4 2/3 innings, he did have the 10 strikeouts. And you could just see, okay, better location on the fastball. Now, the last outing against Texas, he gives up the 2 home runs. One was kind of a fluky one, I thought. He threw 2 changeups, those super fun, slow changeups he likes to throw to Nathaniel Lowe, and he hit a home run. And then, to Lowe's credit, Dylan located a good fastball inside on him that he opposite fielded. So, again, I didn't think it was an outing where Dylan was really struggling. There were just a couple of pitches that ended up costing him 4 runs in that outing. So, long story short, I think things have been better over the last 3 outings. I think what he's been working on has been – you're seeing the effects of it. It's going in the right direction. We just need to see more of it today on a consistent basis, and I'm really curious to see how he comes out and attacks his Diamondback lineup, and especially how he's doing in terms of locating that fastball in the lanes that he wants to get it to, because we know that slider is wipeout once he gets ahead.
Excellent breakdown, Scan. We'll see if Dylan Cease can put together a good outing today against Arizona. Let's talk about the starting pitcher on the mound for the Diamondbacks, right-hander Ryan Nelson. Somebody the Padres have traditionally had a good amount of success against. He's already made 2 starts against the Padres this year, 9 earned runs given up in 8+ innings. Scan, how does the Padres offense do something like that once again here today against Nelson?
Yeah, look, he doesn't miss a lot of bats. He throws hard, but the secondary pitches have really always been an issue for him. He spent a lot of time this offseason trying to fix it. We'll talk about that more in the broadcast, but frankly, it doesn't look like it's been working very well. And to your point, you look at the Padres in terms of their success against Ryan Nelson, almost everybody that you look in this lineup is hitting 270 or above. Manny's hitting 267, Profar 313, Peralta 500, Higashioka 500, Jackson Merrill 500. Solano 500. Now, they're not huge sample sizes, but the point is this Padre lineup knows how to get to him. And basically it's, don't help him out on the off speed. Get to a fastball that you can connect with, because he doesn't have the swing and miss stuff. And if you don't have a quality off-speed pitch you can go to, big league hitters are going to get to the heater. So that's what I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on today and see what kind of secondary he's coming with and what the Padre approach is in terms of which side of the plate they might be hunting for that heater.
Yeah, it's a really good point about the lack of strikeouts for Ryan Nelson, because the other day, Scan, I brought up Adrian Morejon, one of my former Amarillo Sod Poodles. Well, in 2021, Ryan Nelson was another one of my Sod Poodles at AA in the Texas League, and Nelson throws hard. The stuff has always been good. So I'll tell you what sometimes when I look at his strikeout numbers this season and I see only 49 and 73 innings, I just think back to when I first saw him, and I'm surprised he's not missing missing more bats. We'll see if that comes a little bit later in Nelson's career. Scan, before I let you go, let's just touch on the Padres, what they've done in this series. Obviously, yesterday, disappointing, although in the 10th inning, an extra inning, the way we do it now, really anything can happen. If you don't execute really well, you can very easily lose a game. But I don't want it to get lost that yesterday the Padres trailed 4-1 going into the 7th inning. They found a way to tie it. Certainly had a big-time comeback and big-time moments on Friday night. Scan, your thoughts on how this team continues to fight back in games, and for the most part, they continue to just rise to the occasion in so many of these big moments.
Heart, grit, and intestinal fortitude. Now, I've used a different word for the intestinal fortitude part with some baseball people, but this is a family show. But when you've got those three things going for you, you're going to win a lot of games. And this is something that you can't just, talk to guys about. It's something a team either has or they don't. This team has it, and they've shown it over and over again where no matter how much they're down, two things. First of all, they don't give up on themselves. And the other part of it, Sam, is they believe that they can get it done, and they do it by continuing to do what they know is going to work. In other words, they don't throw away at bats. They don't start trying to swing for the fences. They don't get into this thing of, we're down by 5, I might as well get mine. It's still a team approach, and what do we need to do to get on base? What do we need to do to put pressure on that opposing pitcher? What can I do this pitch right here, right now? What is the defense telling me? What can I take advantage of, whether it's a bunt, whether it's a slap hit the opposite way, whether it's, just putting together a patient at bat and working the walk so that I can hand it off to the next guy. They never stop that process, and I give them a ton of credit for it because it's easy to get away from it, especially when you're behind, but this Padres team just sticks with it. They grind, they fight, they don't give up, they keep putting the pressure on the opposition. And when you do that, some good things are going to happen. Does it happen all the time? No, but we've become so accustomed to it that, I don't know about you, Sam, but I thought we had the Diamondbacks right where we wanted them yesterday, being down by a few runs, especially after the hit by Solano. So it's great that we've come to expect that, and don't doubt for a second that other teams don't know that happens also. When you come into town, okay, this is a team that's going to come back. This is a team that's, and it's in the back of your mind, and sometimes you can plant that seed of doubt in the opposition, and they start putting pressure on themselves, knowing the reputation that you have. I've been in that other dugout where you're facing that team, and you just, here they come, God, and you start putting pressure on yourself. So credit to the Padres. It's been great to watch. And it's not a common thing, so let's appreciate it and enjoy it, because when you see a team that has those types of characteristics, it's something special, and you're going to see some fun, special things happen.
Really well said, Scan. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at the top of the hour for the final game of this 3-game series. Thanks so much.
Good talking with you, Sam.
All right, that is Bob Scanlon joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 1:10, again, our pitching matchup here today, Ryan Nelson on the mound for Arizona, right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for San Diego. A lot to do between now and first pitch. We'll hear from Kyle Higashioka coming up a little bit later. We'll also revisit what Jurickson Profar had to say earlier this week at Petco Park. We'll also revisit my conversation with new Padres reliever Austin Davis a little bit later as well, in case you missed that earlier in the week. Give you a chance to get to know Austin Davis a little bit more. Much more to do as we walk you up towards first pitch at 1:10 on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. Your water perfected. EcoWater SoCal. Your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 1:10 on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in America's finest city. Let's hear from Padres manager Mike Schilt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Schilt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Day game after a night game, so no pregame media availability from Mike Schilt. So let's hear a little bit of what Mike Schilt had to say after yesterday's game. Again, the Padres losing 7-5 to Arizona in 10 innings. And you look at that 10th inning, well, there wasn't great execution from the Padres in a couple of different respects. That inning started, Corbin Carroll, the Diamondbacks automatic runner on second base, Geraldo Perdomo, laid down a bunt, and really everybody in the building knew it was coming. He was showing bunt, and bunts it on the third base side. Wandy Peralta gets to it, couldn't make a play on it. Manny Machado was crashing pretty hard from third. Padres unable to record the out. Then the Diamondbacks end up loading the bases. A 2-run single for Christian Walker makes it a 6-4 game. They get one more run to make it 7-4. Padres then, of course, get a run to make it 7-5. They load the bases with nobody out in the bottom half of the 10th inning. The tying runs in scoring position, the winning run on base, and the Padres could not find a way to get that big hit they needed in the 10th inning yesterday. Matt Waldron was good. 6+ innings, 3 earned runs given up on 5 hits. Here was Mike Schilt after yesterday's game. He starts by talking about the top of the 10th inning and the Padres being unable to make a play on that Perdomo bunt.
Yeah, we know we're going to get it out there. I mean, we know he's going to bunt. We know we're going to get it out, try to make a play. Didn't happen. Made a good bunt. And, really that whole inning, even Wandy, the walk to Grichuk, but, got to bring the infield in at that point. Walker hits a, 15 hopper, gets through. That's what happens when you compromise a little defensively. And, decided to go to Colic, who I thought threw the ball really well. I mean, effectively that inning, they got the bunt, the 15 hopper through the middle, and, the sac fly to right. So, and then we did our part on the bottom half. We just couldn't get the big hit to tie or win it.
What did you think of Waldron tonight, the way he, after that kind of rough second inning, he managed to make it into the seventh?
He was tremendous. I mean, in the long second, and after that, he was super efficient. And he's a guy that's gotten better as he goes, and had a really quick sixth, and wanted to like the matchup with Suarez. We're going to go Suarez, maybe Newman, and then go to Yuki. That way we didn't really have to use another reliever at that point, but in that lane. But Suarez had a good bat and got one into left. But I thought Waldron was fantastic.
The fact that you came back the first time and you mounted what you did in the 10th inning. Is there much to take from that, given that it kind of continues a theme that we've seen recently of the fact that you're never out of it?
I just think that's who we are. I mean, that's just the identity of this club. I don't think there's any doubt we're going to, if you're going to get on top, if you're going to, at the end of the day, you're going to have more than we are, you're going to earn it. And, guys fought their tails off, and like I said, just couldn't get the big hit in the 10th.
That was Padres manager Mike Schilt after last night's game here at Petco Park. The Padres losing to the Arizona Diamondbacks by a final score of 7-5. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to get ready for today's rubber game of this series. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We take a look at the hot category. Manny Machado, an RBI single last night. His last 18 games, he's hitting .356 with 6 home runs and 17 RBIs. Jackson Merrill, another base hit last night in his last 22 games, batting .321 with a .702 slugging percentage, .1055 OPS, 9 home runs, and 22 RBIs in that span. Gabriel Moreno for the Diamondbacks, a 5-game hitting streak snapped last night, still 10 for his last 20. today with a couple of doubles, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs in that span. Also in the hot category, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. for the Diamondbacks. He's reached base safely in 15 of his last 16 games, hitting safely in 14 of those games with a .358 batting average, .978 OPS in that span, 3 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, and 12 RBIs. Gurriel has 3 home runs in his last 8 games, so he has been a very dangerous hitter for the D-backs, and nothing really standing out in the not category today. Nobody is ice cold in either lineup, so we'll keep it on the hot category today. Keep it positive on this Sunday, and that's a look at who's hot and not really who's not today. But we do that sometimes when I'm looking up and down the lineup and nobody is ice cold. I feel nice. I'm not going to put anybody in the not category here on this Sunday. When we come back, we'll continue to get ready for today's game, take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, give you our keys to the game. Plus, I caught up with Kyle Higashioka inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. We revisit my conversation with new Padres reliever Austin Davis a little bit later as well. And we'll also hear some of what Jurickson Profar had to say about his first All-Star appearance earlier this week. Much more to do on our pregame coverage. We continue after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres get ready to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks coming up at 1:10. We go out to Jesse Agler and Bob Scanlon at the very top of the hour. So in just about 24 minutes, they'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and then all the play-by-play. Let's update you on the injuries impacting today's game.
Who's in, who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at BadaFulkerson.com.
We take a look at our injury report here today. You may remember that Ketel Marte exited Friday night's game late with back tightness. He's still considered day-to-day. Marte did not appear in yesterday's game. He is not in the lineup once again here today for the D-backs. So Marte came out of Friday's game, not in the lineup yesterday, not in the lineup here today. Obviously one of Arizona's better hitters, so that's a big missing piece in the Arizona lineup. And that's a look at who's in, who's out here today. Ketel Marte coming out on Friday, and once again not in the lineup for Arizona in the final game of this series. Well, earlier today, inside the Padres clubhouse, I caught up with Kyle Higashioka. Higgy is not in the lineup here today, day game after a night game. Luis Campusano is getting his first start since coming off the IL, but obviously Higgy continues to be just terrific at the plate and behind the plate. The big home run on Friday night to make it a 7-2 game. Padres would end up having to win it in dramatic fashion, but still, Kyle Higashioka, through only a bit more than 100 at-bats, has already matched his career high in home runs. He has 10 home runs already this season. Higgy, earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse, talked about the importance of having so many different Padres contribute during the course of this most recent stretch.
That helps a lot because, teams that are relying on, one or two guys, it's typically easy to kind of pitch around those lineups where if everyone's productive and everyone's having quality at bats up and down the lineup, it makes it really tough on the other team.
Higgy, you've played on a number of winning teams. What are, in your mind, typically the characteristics of a good winning team, and what characteristics like those has this team shown so far this year?
Offensively, I think definitely the 1 through 9 in the lineup, having quality at bats, not trying to do too much. That's one of the big things. And then the resilience, I think, coming back from behind, this team's really shown that. And then also, solid defense, solid pitching. You got to have that. So I think, we've shown that, and we're still working on consistency, but we're getting there.
Speaking of resiliency, the win on Friday night, the way you guys were able to come back in the ninth inning, it was a roller coaster of an inning. You were behind the plate for the top half. You then watched what the guys did at the top of the lineup in the bottom half of the inning. Can you just take us through sort of that roller coaster of an inning, the emotions that came with that?
Yeah, definitely wasn't happy about the way the top of the ninth went, but I think with this team, just having the heart of the order coming up in the bottom, you know that we still weren't out of it. And then Profar hit the homer, and I think we all kind of knew that we were going to win that one.
Kyle, I know you've said to me before that you're not trying to hit home runs, but you continue to hit the ball out, match a career high, here in early July. Is there anything you can point to at the very least that has allowed you to put together the quality of at-bats you have and put the kinds of swings on pitches that you have so far this year?
I think I'm swinging at better pitches overall. Pitch selection's been a little better. Made a couple of tweaks mechanically. Closed my stance a little bit, and that's kind of helped. But still, the main thing is just being able to keep my direction towards the middle of the field and swinging good pitches.
That was Padres catcher Kyle Higashioka earlier today inside the Padres clubhouse. Again, Kyle not in the lineup here today. Day game after night game. Luis Campusano behind the plate today for the Padres and batting ninth. San Diego County Toyota dealers are proud partners of the Padres and supporters of the San Diego community, and we would like to especially recognize and honor the men and women who serve our country on this Military Sunday. Thank you, and go Padres. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at scores from around the major leagues. Games going on right now. Mets and the Pirates are scoreless in Pittsburgh in the 8th inning. Phillies and the Braves in Atlanta. Braves leading 6-0 in the 8th inning there. Cardinals leading the Nationals 6-3 in D.C. in the 6th inning. White Sox 4, Marlins 1 in Miami in the 7th. Tigers lead the Reds 5-1 in Cincinnati in the 8th inning. Giants trail the Guardians 5-3 in Cleveland in the 7th. Astros 2, Twins 2 in the 5th inning in Minnesota. Cubs lead the Angels 3-0 in Chicago in the 6th inning. Rangers lead the Rays 7-2 in Arlington in the 4th inning. Royals 4, Rockies 0 in Colorado in the 3rd. Games yet to begin. We have a number of games coming up still. Orioles and the A's at 1:07 in Oakland. Brewers and the Dodgers in LA at 1:10. Blue Jays and the Mariners in Seattle at 1:10. Red Sox and the Yankees in the Bronx at 4 p.m. a little bit later on today. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday across the major leagues. Well, earlier this week, I caught up with new Padre reliever Austin Davis. You may have heard this quick interview earlier in the week, but for anybody that didn't hear it, worth playing again, giving you a quick introduction to Austin Davis, this left-hander for the Padres that has done a nice job out of the bullpen, had 3 appearances in the road trip. Gave up 1 run in 4 innings. Has an interesting story. Was in independent ball at one point last season. Pitched in the Dominican Winter League over this past winter, and now finds himself back in the major leagues after beginning this year at AAA El Paso, where he put up some really good numbers for a while. Then got the opportunity to come up to the Padres. Here's a little introduction to new Padres left-hander Austin Davis. Welcome to San Diego. You joined the team in the last week. How's it been going so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Really good road trip. Guys played really well. It was fun to be a part of 2 winning series, and then excited to be here in San Diego.
And your results on the mound so far have been really good with the Padres out of the bullpen. Looking at your numbers from El Paso, a lot of success there as well. What's worked the last couple of months for you?
Just trying to pound the strike zone more, and that's something that I got away with a little bit in Boston and in Texas, not as much as I'd like, but just trying to be in the zone as much as I can and hope that gets me outs.
As far as adjusting to a new clubhouse, I mean, you're about to play your first game here at Petco Park. From the life standpoint, I mean, what has the last week been like?
Yeah, I think it's just exciting. From a player's standpoint, like teammate standpoint, I played with a lot of guys in this clubhouse before on other teams or in the Dominican in the winter, so that's just been fun to see old faces and then meet the new guys I haven't met before. And then being here, this clubhouse, I've been here for 5 minutes. It's amazing, and I'm excited for the Petco crowd.
You mentioned playing with some of the guys in the Dominican. You look at really your last year. I mean, there was a point last year you were in the American Association. You pitched in the Dominican over the winter. The last year or so now to be here in San Diego, back in the major leagues after you spent time in the major leagues with other organizations. I mean, what's it like now to be back here?
It's really fun, and I think for my family, it's really nice. I've got 2 kids and my wife, and so we're excited to be in San Diego and be in a beach town and just enjoy that, however long we get to be here. And they made a lot of sacrifice for me to be able to go play in the Dominican or just go to Indy ball real quick and leave them behind. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, well, it's a great place to be in the summer. Weather is great, especially this time of year. I mentioned the life part of it with your wife, 2 kids. I mean, when you're adjusting going from El Paso to San Diego, I mean, how did the logistics of something like that work?
Yeah, well, first off, they're troopers, so that makes it easy. But, I mean, when you're a part of a major league team, they're very helpful. So they help me get an apartment and get settled in, get the car here and all that stuff, and kind of just take all those logistics out of my hands, and they take them on so that I can just focus on pitching, which made life very easy for me.
Austin, really appreciate the time. Great work out of the Padres bullpen so far, and we'll talk to you again down the road. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That was new Padres reliever Austin Davis earlier this week here at Petco Park. Davis has not appeared yet in this series. We'll see if Davis appears at some point today out of the Padres bullpen. Let's give you today's keys to the game.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
We're going to keep our keys to the game very, very simple here today. Key number 1, The Padres offense continuing to put the pressure on Diamondbacks pitching, and I'm going to have more on that later because you're going to want to keep an eye on that D-backs bullpen here today. But let's focus on the Padres offense. Padres hitters have a combined .332 batting average against Diamondbacks pitching this year and a .958 OPS against Arizona. It's their highest against any single opponent in 2024. The Padres have also hit 18 home runs against the D-backs in their 9 games played, a .575 slugging percentage against Arizona. Their most home runs, their highest slugging percentage against any one club this year. So the point being, the Padres, for the most part, have ripped up Diamondbacks pitching so far this season. Final game these two teams will play here at Petco Park in 2024. Go out and do it again. That's key number 1. Key number 2, more specifically about one guy, Jurickson Profar. He has been terrific against the Diamondbacks this year, hitting .324 with a .735 slugging percentage and 34 at-bats against Arizona this year. How about this? 4 home runs already against them, 9 RBIs, and 8 runs scored in 9 games against Arizona already this year. So Jurickson Profar doing something like that again. That's key number 2. And key number 3, limit this Diamondbacks offense. You look at what the D-backs bats have done in the last 10 games since June 25th. They rank first in the NL in on-base percentage in that span at .351, first in OPS at .826, first in runs scored at .67, second in team batting average at .278. The bottom line is that over the course of the last 10 games, this Arizona offense has been really, really good. And look, we saw it the first 2 nights of this series. Diamondbacks scoring 7 runs last night, 8 runs on Friday night. Their offense has been good. Dylan Cease in this Padres bullpen, they have to find a way to limit this offense here tonight. Today, I should say, and be a little bit better. So pretty simple keys to the game today, but the Padres swinging it well and limiting the Diamondbacks offense pretty much are keys to today's game, this series finale between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Padres, by the way, playing their 9th rubber match today. Padres have been great in these games so far this year. The Padres entering today are 7-1 in rubber games this season. So take that for what you will. We'll see if the Padres can improve to 8-1 in these kinds of games here today. When we come back, we dive deep into this Arizona bullpen. Could play a major role in today's game, and we dive even deeper into today's pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Ryan Nelson. Plus, we hear from the All-Star Jurickson Profar. Much more to do in our pregame coverage after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 1:10 here at Petco Park. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building as we get ready for the rubber game of this 3-game series. Let's tell you what to watch for.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game. This Arizona bullpen, their relievers are absolutely gassed right now. Of a total 46 innings on their current road trip, the D-backs bullpen has thrown 28 of them, posting a 4.1 ERA in that span. No Arizona starter has lasted more than 4 2/3 innings in their last 5 games, and since the start of June, the Diamondbacks bullpen has thrown the second most innings of any bullpen in the major leagues. And you look at last night, they had to use 6 relievers last night. That's after using 3 on Friday. So keep an eye on that today. What does this Arizona bullpen look like? And can the Padres take advantage of a bullpen that has been worked really, really hard as of late? That's what to watch for in today's game. Well, we should have some additional Padres All-Stars, fingers crossed, hopefully announced later on today. The full rosters for the All-Star game coming up in Arlington, Texas on July 16th. Those full rosters will be revealed at 2:30 Pacific time today. So during today's game, we should get word on maybe if we have some additional Padres in the All-Star game. One guy we know will be there is Jurickson Profar, the National League starting left fielder. Jurickson spoke inside the clubhouse earlier this week. Here was Jurickson on what he's most looking forward to at the All-Star game.
Everything. For my son is going to be a really happy moment. I think, watching the home run derby with him.
Obviously. So that was Jurickson Profar. Just a quick little bite there. Should be really, really special for Jurickson and his son to be at the home run derby. And really should be a lot of fun watching Jurickson back in Arlington, Texas for his first ever All-Star game. Let's preview today's pitching matchup between Ryan Nelson and Dylan Cease.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview. Presented by Chimney Sweeps, Inc., San Diego's trusted chimney and fireplace service company for 40 years. Call Chimney Sweeps, Inc. at 1-800-CHIMNEY or book an inspection online at chimneysweepsinc.com.
Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres here today. The 28-year-old is 7-7, a 4.24 ERA now in 18 starts, 102 innings, 130 strikeouts, and 32 walks. His last start in Texas against the Rangers, not a good one. 3 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs given up, 8 hits, 2 home runs allowed. That was after a tremendous start against the Washington Nationals. His last start here at home, he went 7 scoreless innings, gave up just 1 hit and struck out 9. If you zoom out on Cease's last 10 starts, look, the numbers are not very good. 6.15 ERA in 52-plus innings, 11 home runs given up. And for context, Cease gave up just 2 home runs in his first 49 innings of the season combined. So the home run ball has been a big issue as of late. Cease allowed 1 run in 6 2/3 innings and a 7-1 Padres win over the Diamondbacks in Arizona during the month of May. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Diamondbacks, right-hander Ryan Nelson, 26 years old, comes into today's start, 5-6 on the year, a 5.42 ERA. 73 innings, he struck out only 49, walked 19, a .313 opponent batting average against Nelson. Nelson held the Dodgers to 1 run in 5 innings. That was Tuesday in LA, his last time out. Nelson has faced the Padres twice this season. One was a blowout victory for the Diamondbacks. They won that game 11-4. One was a game where the Padres blew out the D-backs, and the Padres won that game 13-1. Overall, Nelson has given up 10 runs, 9 earned, and a .359 opponent batting average in 8+ innings against the Padres so far this season. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup here today. Ryan Nelson on the mound for Arizona, and it is right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for San Diego. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. It has been a very entertaining series so far. The Padres winning a thriller on Friday night, an extra inning affair last night. Diamondbacks found a way to win it. What's in store? The rubber match of this three-game series coming up. We're going to find out. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Bob Scanlon have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our postgame show. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network.